Hey guys, welcome to the stream. It is Views from the Vault, episode 20. It's your homie Leon here. I'm here with my co-hosts Pierre and Jason Mead. We have a very special episode planned for you guys today. We're talking fan bases and the worst fan bases, the 5 worst fan bases in sports as voted upon by you guys on Pierre's Instagram. So Pierre's going to lead the discussion and we're going to talk about it. So hope you guys enjoy.
So this started with an argument on Views After Dark. Leon was poking at a bunch of people and pissing a bunch of people off. So once we figured out the best way to handle this, I decided to take it to my Instagram stories and just pose the question to the community. What are the worst fan bases out there? Right? So these were the 5 winners. These were the 5. Well, winners, losers. You're right, Pancake. However you want to fucking look at it, right? So you had first you had the Boston as a city. That's one of them. I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just going to tell you the 5 ones that were the winners / losers, however you want to look at it. So Boston as a city. The second one was Philadelphia as a city. Another one was the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not Los Angeles as a city, but the Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay. The 4th one was the Toronto Maple Leafs for some reason, which was shocking to me. And the last was the New York Yankees. So Boston as a city, Philadelphia as a city, Toronto Maple Leafs, Los Angeles Dodgers, New York Yankees. Those edged out some other popular ones, which were the Patriots. Not Boston as a city, but the Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys. There was some soccer talk in there, but it didn't really take over enough for it to be considered in this top 5. But those are the 5.
Did anybody bring up how shitty the Nebraska Cornhusker fans are?
I think you did.
Okay, yeah.
I think you did. I think you. No, you got to remember so everyone's aware, this wasn't like 20 people that responded. There was hundreds of responses, and I think it was like 1,100 views on the story. So there was a lot of people that interacted with this. It wasn't like there was 10 people that said something. This was a sizable number of people that responded. So I think the most logical place to start, since Leon started this shit, right, in Views After Dark, by poking at people randomly. You weren't on there, Pancake, but I will tell you, Leon was at his best that evening. Leon claimed that Kyle Lowry is the best player in the NBA.
Did I say that?
History.
Yeah, it was something along the lines of, Kyle Lowry.
Greatest rapper of all time. And don't be surprised if he gets into the Hall of Fame.
No.
Yeah, I know.
He's a Philly guy. Guy.
Yeah, North Philly, right?
Yeah.
North Philly.
Was he good or no? Yeah, are you a fan?
I mean, listen, I'm a major sports fan. I have no affiliation for colleges. I went to a broadcasting school. We didn't have a team. I went to a technical high school. We didn't have any sports teams for my high school at all. But like, so I just don't pay attention enough.
Yeah.
To the college ranks.
Yeah, so I mean, you're pretty clear.
So to me, when he shows up, it's like he's from Philly, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then
that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah, that's kind of where it ends. I mean, if you don't play for us, I don't care.
I love it. That's what I love about you, Pancake. So let's get into this. So Leon, Toronto Maple Leafs somehow creeped into this top 5. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think it's a lot of jealousy. But I think the real root of where it comes from is that hockey, the center of the hockey universe, like it or not, is in Toronto. The biggest coverage is in Toronto. Weirdly enough, like all the other teams kind of get branded as like Canada's teams. So like the Blue Jays, since there's no other MLB teams, that's Canada's team. The Raptors, there's no other teams, so that's Canada's team. But when it comes to Maple Leafs, there's other Canadian franchises, so they hate Toronto, right? So like as an example, the Maple Leafs are always going to play primetime Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. They're always going to get the slot no matter what, good, bad, ugly, whatever. So you're gonna have a lot of the fans, like let's say Vancouver. You're not gonna get a Saturday night. You're probably gonna get a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon or whatever. So there is some type of built-in animosity there. The Leafs haven't really been good. Like they have a bunch of championships. So they have, I think, the second most compared to Montreal Canadiens. Most of them happened in the past. They have the longest ever Stanley Cup drought. Okay, cool. That sucks for us, but we're still going to support the team. And the tickets are so expensive here that it's cheaper for us to hightail it to like Buffalo or to Ottawa.
Buffalo?
Even Detroit, let's say. And we'll take over their stadium. So there's a lot of hate that comes with that, right? We got beat by a Zamboni driver last year, so that was embarrassing.
Yeah, but
why? So I mean,
but why do people hate the fan base though? Like the fan base comes up as like a hated fan base. So what is it about the fans?
I think it's probably similar to like the Cowboy fans, where it's like we haven't done anything in so long, yet we still cheer for them and we still support them. So I think there's a lot of hate that comes with that.
So who's their main rival? Like if there's a fan base, right, that like absolutely despises the Maple Leafs fan base, who is it? The Canadiens?
There's a lot. There's the Canadiens, Ottawa. I almost want to say Boston, but we haven't touched Boston, so it's not much of a rivalry. You just kick our ass, right? So
yeah, Boston
I don't know.
Is used to. It's
one of those things where. Easy.
We'll get to Boston later.
What's
We'll
that?
see.
We'll get to Boston later.
Yeah, we'll get to Boston later. But
well, I'm not feeling a lot of hatred
it's just
here.
one of
This
those
feels like I feel like a Canadian, like a hatred for the Maple Leafs. Like Canadians are just so much nicer. Like I don't hear much ugly here. Do you?
They love to hate us. I don't know. They and Toronto fans they can be obnoxious, right? There's a thing called Jurassic Park. So there's a big screen outside of our stadium, and then the Raptors and the Leafs were in the playoffs at the same time, and they made an agreement that like whatever home team is playing, that's the team that we're going to show on the screen. But it happened at the same time that they were both playing at the same time, and the Raptors were getting their ass kicked. Like they were getting fucking walloped.
Yeah.
And the Leafs fans started cheering like, change the channel. So like they just do dumb shit like that.
So Leon, I still don't feel the anger. I want to share a story with you, and I think this is going to segue into a different hated fan base, right? So Terry Francona was a manager for the Red Sox for a long time, and I loved him. I thought he was a great manager. He actually helped elevate the Red Sox to a different level, right? But he told a story about when he was in Philadelphia, okay, where they were in a losing streak. They lost a tough game. He's heading to his car. He's getting pelted with fucking batteries. You're talking about chanting, change the channel. When Francona was running for his life from a fan base in Philadelphia. That's what I mean by Canadians. Canadians are so freaking nice. In Philly, they were looking for weapons to take out the manager.
They already had them. They weren't looking for them. They were already in their car.
So folks in Canada are like, they're kind of rummaging. They're kind of like, kind of hovering around a TV screen saying, change the channel.
I'm sure there was a please after that chant too.
Probably. And in Philadelphia, as Pancake just kind of like laid out for us, there was a premeditated like plan to bring like a fanny pack of batteries that probably said "I love Philly" on the front of it.
I'm sure there were some pretzels and a Liberty Bell on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
probably, right? Some cheesesteak on the side of it.
Some whiz whip. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, whatever. And they're pelting a manager with batteries. So I think one of the biggest things that came up in our Views After Dark the other night was how terrible the Philly fan base is. How terrible they are.
Well, they seem like they just like to throw. They just like to seem like they throw stuff at people. Like that's their reaction to.
Probably that's true. That's true. I mean, tons of stuff gets thrown. It's insanity.
Okay,
and
so
when the teams are good.
Pancake, hold on, I got to set this up a little bit more first. okay, before you can kind of talk through this, okay? I was in Philadelphia 2 years ago with at the time, my son was 10 and my daughter was 14, right? And I was taking them on a northeastern baseball trip, right? One of those stops happened to be good old Philadelphia. They were playing the Washington Nationals. So we were there for 2 games. One game I wore Philly gear. The next game I was going to wear Washington Nationals gear just for the hell of it, right? Because I'm like, I don't have affiliation to either of these teams. So the second game, I go in with a Washington. I was fine the first game when I wore the Philly stuff. I pretended like I was a Philly fan. So I fit in, my kids fit in, everything was okay. Okay? Game 2, I wear the Washington Nationals garb. I go in there, and listen, I was treated like a goddamn piece of garbage. Okay? And then, listen to this.
Whose jersey did you have on?
Huh? It was a plain one. No name on the back. It had the W.
That's actually a pretty good call.
That was the right way to go. Okay? But it started to downpour. So I get the kids. I'm like, all right, let's get to the car. Let's get out of here. It's already a bad enough experience. As we're running to the car, all of the local Philly natives, I'm with my 10-year-old and my 14-year-old, like, fuck you, motherfucker. Have a nice trip home and all this stuff. And I'm with 2 children. Right. I wasn't pelted with batteries, so I'll give the Philly fan base credit for that. They didn't throw batteries at myself and my 2 children. But that was my experience. So how about you explain to me how that's okay?
Well, that's a tough one. No, listen, the language on children in Philadelphia at sporting events, like you will hear a 12-year-old tell you to go fuck yourself. Wow. And you're looking at their parent and they're high-fiving all their buddies. I mean, I have a 7 and a 5-year-old. They're girls. We're not doing that, but they see it. I mean, when we went to Flyers games, Phillies games, whatever it was, it's there. There's no getting around it. And to be honest, it's almost like this. They're not even looked down upon by the other fans. Like, I'm not going to throw the batteries with you, but like, man, why is that guy wearing the Nationals jersey?
Yeah.
Like, who brought the Nationals jersey? And it's tough because, especially as like a teenager, an early 20-year-old college kids who go there and get drunk. I mean, there is no love lost for any team. So if you come wearing that Mets hat,
it's a New York Giants, baseball Giants hat.
Yeah, it's a Mets hat. I know, but it looks like a Mets hat. Not. That's what I'm saying. I hear you, but if you wear that New York Giants hat, you're a Mets fan, and it doesn't matter that whatever it is. And it's tough. And I mean, I've seen some pretty terrible things. I've seen some.
But you don't seem to defend it, Pancake. You're not defending them, right? You're saying it's wrong.
It's wrong, but you probably shouldn't have worn the jersey here, man.
I'm with you. Listen, dude, I'll be honest with you. I'm with you.
So like, and I feel bad for people who wear the jerseys. Like when I see you show up in the other jersey, I'm going, all right, who told you that this was okay? Especially like,
it's okay.
You brought your. It's not okay. It's not okay. And like the children thing is where I sort of draw the line. But like, we were at a game, a bunch of my buddies, and this girl walks in with her boyfriend wearing a Habs jersey, and it's like, you guys can't sit here. Like, you can go sit somewhere, but it can't be right here because he's gonna have a terrible game. Now he can sit here. He can be here all he wants, but that's the wrong call.
What's the worst thing you've seen, Pancake?
I mean, full on fistfights, full on beers thrown at, people from 2 feet away. They don't serve cans anymore. They don't serve those metal bottles anymore. I mean, they don't even serve. You can't get straws in Philly stadiums anymore.
What are they going to do with them? Poke your eyes out?
I don't know what they're going to do with them. Heat them up and
so let me ask you a question, Pancake. So listen to me. Listen. What? You're dealing with a fucked up fan base, right? If someone's like, listen, we can't have straws.
No, I don't. I think they do have straws. I do think they have straws.
Okay.
No, I don't. I mean, but listen, we are a fan base that at the vet there was, you could get arrested and locked up and processed in the stadium. Like, you didn't leave. They didn't take you down to the precinct. They took you downstairs. So, so you're not, you know, it's
they have a special holding unit for the incredulous ones.
Yeah, well,
right in
my
the
brother
basement.
on here, he can talk about it. He can tell us. But I mean, you know, he's a fan. He's like me, and when we get together,
who is
my brother?
Oh, your brother. Okay.
He's spent some time in the Philadelphia room, and you know, down at the Union game, first game of the season. You know, it's part of the deal. But you know, I feel bad for the people who show up wearing the other gear. Like, you've seen the videos from 2018 when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. The people from Minnesota, who are like the nicest human beings next to Canada. I mean, they actually, when they say, "How are you doing?" they actually mean it.
They actually want to know what your answer is.
Yeah, we don't really.
No, man, I'm pretty clear Philly doesn't care about how I feel. You know?
No, we no one likes us. We don't care. This was that's a Union chant. It started off as a Philadelphia Union chant. I'm sure that we stole it from somebody else, but we don't care because it's ours now. The Eagles use it.
So you're even stealing people's sayings and shit now.
Right. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us.
Well, listen, I said Philly fans were amongst the worst in the world in Views After Dark, and I had someone vehemently defending Philly fans, saying they were misunderstood. I think they're completely understood. That's the problem.
No, we're pretty understood.
Right. So like everything that we kind of shared with this individual, they had a defense for.
Like booing Santa Claus.
Like, okay, so listen, the booing of the Santa Claus, like, so.
Oh, you're gonna defend it too?
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I'm not defending it. But here's the deal. So every year, the Eagles would have this Christmas like pageant thing. This is like '68. This is like mid '60s. So this is, you know, pre me. I'm not, you know, I wasn't there. But so everything is set up. It snows like crazy. The Eagles were doing terribly that year. They were like 0-11, and we wanted them to tank so that they could get O.J. Simpson, right? They started winning. Yeah, maybe if they would have got him, things would have gone a little different. But so
you guys
they start winning.
Santa Claus.
They start winning, and it's snowing, and Santa wakes up and he goes, "Listen, I'm not going." So people get to their seats, and there's a foot of snow on their seats, so they're pissed off. They're doing terrible. They're going to come in a terrible place, but they're not getting any good draft picks.
Yeah.
So, and now this is defending us, but you know, so they find some guy who was dressed as Santa, who showed up to every game, the last game of the year, dressed as Santa, and he's some kid like weighs nothing, and he starts walking down the field, and he sees a couple people start to make snowballs, and then it turns into half of the stadium throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. Now,
it seems like a reasonable, like rational, composed response.
Because he was there.
I mean, he wasn't a good Santa, right? I mean, he wasn't a good Santa.
Because he didn't deliver you O.J. Simpson.
Listen,
right.
Pancake, we got to move on. We got to move on to the next city. And I'm sure you have some insight on some of these other cities, but I will say you've done nothing to disprove. And it's almost as if you're proud of the fact that the Philly fans are evil sons of bitches.
Yeah. No, we kind of. I mean, we love our teams and we love our city and even the players. Like when you come here to play, there are some players who come here, who when they get here, they realize that this was not the right city for them. Because if you don't play well, and you're on our team, I was third row behind Ryan Howard as he struck out for the 15th time straight. I booed him louder than anyone has ever booed any human being in their life. I'm in Diamond Club seats. These aren't for people like me. I'm 700 level.
Yeah.
So
they put you loudmouths up higher where your sound gets drowned out.
Right. Exactly. They don't want to hear what we have to say. us 700s. So you know the people around me are like, I can't believe that you're doing this, and it's like, this guy's struck out for 3 straight games. I can't believe he's doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, listen, it was clearly his fault. And I think listen, what I love about Philly fans from what I've seen, right? They're in your face. They don't give a shit. And then they defend themselves like vehemently, like there's at all costs.
Right. Like if we murdered someone, we would totally defend.
You'd
the fact that it
rationalize
was like,
it.
no,
You'd
but
rationalize
listen, he was wearing a Washington National shirt.
Yeah, like the Santa Claus was like 20 pounds underweight, so he deserved to be pelted by a bunch of ice balls from.
No, they were snowballs. They only turned into ice as they flew through the air.
Oh, okay.
Because it was freezing.
Well, so
The arguments are segmented the same with all the Philly guys. They have the same rationale. Like,
So,
Philly too.
let's do this. Let's move to Boston. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna share a story, but then I'm gonna talk about one inexcusable thing about Boston that's been kind of on everyone's minds around it being a racist town. So there are stories, documented stories of players going there and being called outside of their name, racial slurs, that sort of thing. There is no way anyone's going to get me to defend that. That's disgusting. And that behavior was pervasive at Fenway Park for many years. And I'm sure it's been kind of handled and it's been kind of squashed of late, but still it's an ugly part of the Red Sox past. I'm going to share a terrible story of what I saw that I actually loved seeing, similarly to you, Pancake, when you see some other fans going into your stadium wearing something. So I was in the bleachers, right, with a bunch of buddies. This was back when Bernie Williams was still on the team. So I'm in the bleachers, and anybody that knows anything about Fenway Park, there's always a couple police officers parked right at the front of the bleachers. You can see them even when people hit home runs. You can kind of see those cops that are there. And the Red Sox got beat by the Yankees that day, and there was a gentleman wearing a Bernie Williams jersey in the bleachers. Now, you can wear other teams' stuff to Fenway, but you better not be in the fucking bleachers. Because once that game was over and that guy turned around and started talking shit to people, all I saw were sodas and beers just flying in an arced pattern and nailing this guy. And he's screaming to the police officers to do something. The cops looked back and just said, "You shouldn't be wearing that jersey in here." So it's funny that you talk about, I talk about, so there's certain places I personally won't go wearing a different jersey. I thought Philly, I'd be safe. I was wrong. I learned my lesson. They're a bunch of fucking assholes. But on my trip, when I went to New York, I won't wear a New York jersey, but I just went kind of vanilla, man, right? But at the end of the day, Boston fans are pretty rough, okay? And I know it. But I'd love to hear anybody else's take.
All right, so I was at 2010, New Year's Day, Winter Classic, Flyers, Boston, fantastic game. The seats were terrible. I was in the outfield, so trying to see a puck from the fucking outfield is just the most ridiculous thing on the face of the planet. Like, who the fuck?
But the novelty of playing hockey outside was a big deal.
And the novelty of me going up to Fenway to watch hockey was, come on, it's ridiculous. So game's going on. Flyers take the lead early. It's a great game. We're literally having, like, a great time. Like, everyone around us is having a great time. Especially the guy behind me who just loved Scott Hartnell. Scott Hartnell all game long. Like, it's Hartnell. Hartnell the entire game.
So you have a problem with the Boston accent. So we get it.
Not all of them. Just on women. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Was this
Boston,
a woman?
Boston ladies who are watching. No. But no. So we had a great time, and I'm with the boss of mine. She's super cool. Like, having a great time. Goes to overtime. Boston ties it up late. Goes to overtime. We lose in overtime.
Yes.
And yes, not cool. And the second that you guys won, it was like a kid who just got an A and you failed, and they're just shoving it in your face the whole time. And I'm going, I gotta walk all the way down. And now I have another issue just with Boston in general. So when you go down to Philadelphia, right, the stadiums are all together, and those three stadiums are surrounded by, like, I don't know, 47 parking lots that you
and a bunch of
you
assholes.
just go in and you get shitty in any of these parking lots. You don't like, there are full lots of people that don't go to the games. They just go and get shit-faced in the parking lots. So when I got to Boston and we showed up with all this booze and backpacks, and it was like, where do we go tailgating? And I'm like, do you go to the bar? And I was like, well, we have our own booze. Where do we go to drink our contraband? And they're like, no, you don't do that here. And it was like, I don't understand that. How do you get shitty and belligerent and treat other fans terribly if you don't have
it's already in the Bostonians' blood. So there's no reason for us to go to a parking lot with a bunch of liquor to get to that place. We're already there. They wake up that way. So, listen, I'm going to tell you something about Boston fans, right? Boston fans are there's no doubt we're all assholes. Now, there's also a lot of bandwagon jumpers and stuff like any other fan base, right? We're all assholes. There's no doubt. And we're all from the Northeast. So there's anyone from the Northeast, be it Philadelphia, New York, Boston, whatever. It's a different breed, right? But Boston fans are also, it's very rare that you find a Boston fan booing its own player.
That's true. You guys love your players.
Very rare.
Oh,
if Brian Scalabrine can become a folk hero. Now, Boston has booed some of its players, but it's taken a whole lot more than striking out 15 times in a row. You'd have to beat your own fucking mother to get booed in Boston. So, but I will say the way we treat other fan bases is despicable. And I love it.
Yeah. You have to.
I fucking love it.
You have to.
I love going to the bleachers and looking for someone. I go to the bleachers. The bleachers are the worst place to watch a baseball game from a view standpoint, but I go in there just to see what the fuck happens. I want to see it. In Boston, actually, I saw a Celtics. Leon, this. I saw a Celtics-Toronto game. And I sat right behind some Toronto fans, and they were all so pleasant until they encountered me and my children. It was fucking beautiful, and my kids loved now I didn't cross lines. My kids are there, right? But every time the Celtics scored, every time Toronto fucked up, I made sure those 5 people from Toronto in front of me knew everything about it and heard it over and over again ad nauseum until they turned back to me. I actually got a Canadian to turn around and say, "Can you please stop?" And I kindly looked at her.
Can you please stop?
Yeah, and I looked at her and I said, "Absolutely not. You're in Boston." Absolutely not, lady.
There's a difference between verbally accosting them over what's going on in the game than there is about dumping beer on them.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't do that.
That happens here.
But this I did do. She looked at her husband like he was supposed to help her.
He's like,
and he wouldn't even look back.
No.
Oh, smart man.
Different breed, because it wasn't just me. There was another 2,000 people behind me that were going to get my back. And I loved it. But that's sports. Now, that's Boston, right? But, I think we need to transition to the other side of the country and talk about Los Angeles. So there's very few rivalries in baseball like San Francisco and LA. And I'm not talking about the teams. I'm talking about the fans.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you don't like them. I know Jason doesn't like them. So I'd love to hear more about the LA fan base and why they're despicable, because this one showed up on my Instagram story at least 100 times. So please explain to me.
So I know for a fact Jason has a dislike for Lasorda, so I'll let him speak about him. But right off the bat, any Google search, or as a Giants fan, right off the bat, the first thing that comes up is, so you guys, first of all, you guys throw batteries and ice balls and cuss people out in beer. $15.
Yeah, LA fans stab people.
Thank you.
And not only do they stab people, they stab people in completely different cities. They stab Giants fans in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I think we've got our we've got our winner.
So right off the bat, yeah, like I said, a quick Google search. I pulled up 4 different dates in the last 20 years: 2003, 2009, 2013, and 2011, which is one of the biggest one that got a lot of notoriety and.
But that's only one stabbing every 5 years. It's not that bad.
Well, not bad.
Percentage-wise.
You know.
But the amount of fans they have that actually go to their games, it is a pretty high percentage. So.
It is. The drive, it's only 300 and something miles away, 350 something miles from San Francisco to LA. So people make the drive, and it's a 45-minute an hour flight. So San Francisco fans fly down to LA, and LA fans fly up to San Francisco all the time. So yeah, like Jason's saying, the occurrences are very common.
Yeah.
One of the things that I as a fan, I've never thrown a beer just because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend $15 on throwing it. At somebody.
Well, hold on, pause there. So you have been in moments where you've debated throwing a beer at somebody, but opted against.
No debate. Enjoy the beer,
okay.
And maybe like make fun of make fun of their the pitcher Kershaw. I mean, one of the best pitchers regular season, postseason, he chokes. So anyways, anytime you see Kershaw.
I think that's a fair assessment.
The stats show. But yeah, so it's one of those things where
if you say that to a Dodgers fan, they might stab you.
And that's the difference.
There's the problem. Well, you know what? Listen, I think we're at a point now, so we're kind of figuring things out, right? Toronto, they'll say, please change the channel. And Philly, they'll probably pelt you with batteries.
Right.
Boston, they'll throw things like liquids at you.
They'll verbally accost you with their lack of bars. We've heard that too.
Yeah. And then in LA, they perhaps, and I'm not making light of this, I want to be clear.
No, not at all. Trust me.
You might get stabbed. So I think we're starting to see, the the culmination of these discussions leading to a pretty dark place. I mean, but yeah. Jason, why do you hate the Dodgers so much? What is it about Tommy Lasorda? So, yes. and I want to then connect it to their fan base because that's what we're here to talk about. Like, because their fans are somewhat like whiny now, right? Like LA fans are like fucking whiny now. Like the world owes them something.
Yeah, but they don't because they haven't been good for 30 plus years. But Tommy Lasorda, I don't really know why I don't like him, except for the fact that my grandfather despised the man. And I grew up learning to play the game of baseball, love baseball from my grandfather. So I just knew there was one thing. Pete Rose was two things. Pete Rose was Charlie Hustle, and Tommy Lasorda was a lazy son of a bitch. So
is that only because he was fat, though?
I don't know.
Some people some people just like kind of like
lived long enough for me to fully understand why he hated Tommy Lasorda. I just know that he did, and I grew up hating him too. But to me, why the Dodgers fan base sucks so bad is because I love the World Series. Absolutely love it. I watch every single game.
No matter who's in it.
No matter who's in it. I love the broadcast, the pageantry, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that always has in common is when that broadcast kicks on, stadium's full, jam-packed of screaming fans, except when those games are in LA because they don't show up until the 5th inning. This is the World freaking Series.
Yeah.
And half the stadium's empty until the 4th or 5th inning. And then, heaven forbid, if they're not winning, it's empty again by the 7th inning.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's a fair reason to dislike a fan base.
Yeah, you claim to be diehard fans, but you don't go to the games?
That's second to stabbings. So I think like when you think about it, right? Like when you're thinking about like the hierarchy of the issues with the LA fan base,
right?
I'm going to personally start with there's a potential to get like accosted. Then I'll go to the second one, which would be they get there late and they leave early and they kind of jump off the bandwagon, right? That's what I mean, you guys are saying this. I mean, I'm just kind of paraphrasing here.
I'll never go to Dodger Stadium personally to experience the stabbings. Yeah. So that's really all I have is stuff.
Well, Mead, you look like you can run. So I think if you felt like you were in danger, they'd have to be like an expert, like knife thrower.
I don't know what they have out there. I'm not willing to find out either.
So another thing on Tommy Lasorda, and he admitted this actually, from what I understand, he admitted that he used to like arguing with umpires just for the airtime.
Oh wow.
Plus, he hates the Philly Fanatic, so fuck that guy.
Yeah, what's that about? What's that about?
So,
Yeah.
so the Fanatic has a thing where he makes fun of everyone. So when our
I think I
announcer,
can guess what he made fun of Lasorda
Right.
for.
so when our announcer Dan Baker announces a player, he'll make fun of him, and it depends on who it is. But if the player's got a big head, like the players on the other team will be the ones who give him the ammo, and they're like, dude, he wears a size 8.5, like make fun of his head. So when he gets announced to be up in the field, the Fanatic will be over there and he'll act like his head weighs 1,000 pounds and he just can't fix it. He can't pick it up. So anytime that somebody's out there, he acts like them. And it's Howard, he sits with his stomach out. So Lasorda, he does the same thing. And yeah, they got into it a couple times. He like took the keys of the ATV. Yeah, they got into it. And he like beat to death a doll of the Fanatic. And I mean, if you don't like the Fanatic, you could just straight fuck off. Period.
Another reason why I love Philly fans. So you love some green monster that you know.
I mean, Wally's is.
I listen. Wally the Green Monster ain't shit to me. I don't care. I mean, but let's recap, right? Because we got to head to the where I'm going to really enjoy the place that I'm going to enjoy the most, which is talking shit about the New York Yankee fan base. But let's recap. Toronto Maple Leafs, Canadians are just nice. Let's just kind of leave it at that, right? Philly, they hate Santa Claus. They'll throw batteries at you if you're unsuccessful, and they'll turn on you at the drop of a dime.
Before the game's over, for sure.
They'll turn on you without question. Boston, they love their sports figures there, but listen, a really dark part of their past is the racial pieces, which is not a joke. That's very serious. But also they'll throw liquids at you if you wear an opposing player's jersey. They will mash you, and they're pretty terrible in their own right. LA, listen, they're known to leave games early. They're known to show up late. Their passion may be in question. Not all of them, but
no.
A lot. You can question their passion, and that's only trumped by the fact that you might get stabbed in the parking lot. Now we move on to an organization that I fucking despise. And I just want to, if you guys are okay with me going on a 3-minute diatribe, if that's okay. Okay. The Yankees, to me, are the epitome of fucking evil. Their fans are basically the spawn of Satan himself. I have never experienced more arrogant, fucked up human beings in my life than a Yankee fan. Basically, I'm gonna share with you the average Yankee fan's response to anything negative about their team. 27 championships. And I'm always in my head trying to identify if the individual in front of me has been alive for more than 3 of them. And if they have, I then tailor my response to they were maybe alive for 5 of them, or maybe 6. Perhaps.
Maybe.
But are you honestly telling me that 27 championships have anything to do with the fact that you suck right fucking now? So if someone came to me today and said, Pierre, how's it feel that the Red Sox are in last place? I said, it feels fucking terrible. Never once did I say, we've won this many championships over the past 2 decades. I don't give a fuck because it has nothing to do with right now. However, every Yankee fan believes that 27 championships means something right now, no matter what the fuck is going on. So if I challenge them right now to say, why does your team suck right now? Why do you have 27 championships? I don't give a fuck about your 27 championships. I don't care. I could care less. It means nothing. You young man have been alive for 3 of them, okay? 3 of them. Shut the fuck up. So Yankee fans, in my opinion, are the most arrogant fucks on the face of the earth. Period. There's no question, because I've been dealing with them all my life. I grew up in central Connecticut. We were 2 hours away from Fenway Park. We were 2 hours away from Yankee Stadium. It was the epicenter of hate. Okay? This was the place people say whatever you want about Connecticut. That part of Connecticut, it was the center of hate. You were either a Yankees fan or a Red Sox fan, and there were about 3 or 4 Mets fans. And it just converged there. So I dealt with this from an early age. The second I chose the Red Sox was the second I realized how evil and fucked up Yankee fans were from a very young age. Now, that was my diatribe. I'm sure I'm going to end with more. But I would love to hear someone else's take on the evil Empire's fan base, which, again, is the most terrible fan base on the face of the earth in any sport, anywhere.
I went to a new Yankee Stadium once, and now the Blue Jays and the Yankees aren't big rivals, but I got away with wearing the Blue Jay jersey. But I might have been in good seats. I didn't sit in the bleachers though. So
that's because you give off those Canadian pheromones, and they can't smell the American on you, so they're going to leave you alone. They're fucking evil, man. But I will say this: there's a lot of rich Yankee fans too, and with money comes a little less edge, honestly. You know, you're not dealing with blue collar people all the time. You know, there's a lot of white collar folks out there, and they don't have that kind of hatred in them, right? That's why the arrogance always trumps the hatred. You understand what I mean? They're not beating you up and shit.
Or stabbing you.
No, they're trying to hit you with facts and annoying little fucking like statistics from 1942. It's a different kind of obnoxious. It's not dangerous like in LA or clearly Philadelphia. It's obnoxious, which is almost more annoying. I'd rather be hit with a battery than be told about 27 championships over and over again. I would, honest to God, throw the Duracells at me, please. No one else had a bad experience with these fucking Yankee fans?
No, I did, for sure. So I was at a new Yankee Stadium. I was there with 2 Yankees fans. So I'm in the Philly suburbs. I'm closer to Trenton, New Jersey than I am to Philadelphia. I can get to Trenton, and my wife gets in like 12 minutes for work. It takes me 25 minutes to get to the city. That part of Jersey, Central Jersey, is Yankees fans.
I know.
They're Flyers fans who are Yankees fans.
You're right.
You don't fucking understand.
I know.
You have to like the Devils. You're not allowed to wear the orange if you're. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
But so they have season tickets. First base side, 13th row. I mean, these seats are ridiculous. Nobody around me is watching the game, the entire game. It's just the exact same way you say about Dodgers fans. I mean, we have people literally in front of us who did not watch a single pitch for like 3 straight innings. Just did not care at all. We won, by the way, which was fantastic. Mm-hmm. But those fans aren't the fans. Those fans are people who were given tickets by a company that they work for because they were in town and they didn't have dinner reservations. So they went to a game that the tickets cost $1,500 because they didn't have, dinner reservations for fucking some fancy ass steak place. So I met fans who were fans from way up top. So what was that? 2009? The inaugural season? Was that
the
right?
Yankees?
Well, no, that was the inaugural season though, right?
It was, and they also won the World Series that year.
Right. So we had won. Yeah, I know who they won the World Series against. It was fantastic. It was a great time. No, it wasn't. We won. We're on the subway, and now I'm with 2 Yankees fans, and I'm just getting treated like shit.
Yeah.
Now, listen, the guys that I was with were both like, 5'8", and I'm there standing 6 foot above these 2 wearing, all red. Like if you know me, like I mean, I'm literally head to toe. Like I got, 24 pairs of Philadelphia shoes. Like it's like I walk in and you're like, God damn, what are you doing? What do you?
Yeah.
So I show up like that. I mean, I'm bright red in a sea of navy blue, and I mean,
arrogance.
Just
arrogance.
But at the time, they weren't saying 27 championships. There was only 26.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they continued with the 26, but it on the lines of like going to the stadiums. I got beat up pretty good in Pittsburgh, but the Yankee Stadium wasn't as bad as I expected.
No, because listen, like I said, they're more obnoxious. They're not like there's something about them. It's this obnoxious thing that they do. It's like this fucking arrogance. It's like
abrasive.
Yeah, it's abrasive, but it's also like it's condescending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how dare you? How dare you talk to me, you peasant? You have this many championships. We have 27. I saw 3 of them. We had Mickey Mantle. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. We have Ted fucking Williams, man. I don't give a fuck about your Mickey Mantle. Ted Williams. Fuck
you.
You.
The Philly fanatic, man.
Yeah. So listen, I'm going to end with this if you guys are okay with it, because we're running up on about an hour. I want to share an honorable mention for fan bases, and this is a very unique fan base. Okay, I call them the '90s kids fan base. The '90s kids fan base, for some reason, love the Lakers, the Cowboys, and the fucking Yankees. So what I need to understand, right?
And Detroit, the Red Wings.
Oh yeah, the Red Wings. Yeah,
the Red Wings. Thank you.
So listen. So AEIOU and sometimes Y, right? So the sometimes Y is the Red Wings, because not everyone's a hockey fan. Not everyone's any of those fans, but I'm saying that's the one that's usually the add-on. But how the fuck do you become a Lakers fan, a Cowboys fan, and a Yankees fan? Because honestly, the normal way to get affiliated with an organization is demographics. That's usually the way, right? And then you can have a love for a team because, like, for me, I used to love the Bulls. I was a Celtics fan, diehard. But I love the Bulls because I just understood Michael Jordan's greatness. Okay? But how do you become that fan base annoys me. Because they basically take the Yankee arrogance and they apply it to 2 other sports.
Yep.
Right? Like, guess what? I have 27 championships here. I also have this many here and this many here. I don't know what the Lakers have, 17, 16, 15, what the fuck it is. Let me just add all these up, and I've got like 50 championships I can throw in your face with the. So they're worse than Yankee fans alone. So a normal Yankees fan that likes the Yankees, the Knicks, this or that, I'm fine. I'm actually fine with them in comparison to the folks that said, I'm a Yankees fan, a Lakers fan, and a Dallas fan. Fuck you is what I say to you. How did that happen? You guys ever deal with these people?
Oh, yeah.
Especially here, we don't have pro sports teams. So most people pick their pro sports teams based on either who their parents liked or who's winning at the time. So I am surrounded by Bulls fans because of Michael Jordan. And they're still Bulls fans even though they suck.
Yeah.
But they don't watch the games at all. They just know they like the Bulls because the Bulls are good when they're growing up. Same with the Cowboys. There's a ton of Cowboys fans around here because of Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. It's
right. You deal with it. So I'm not the only one that sees these idiots, right?
No.
All right. So listen,
Toronto deals with it too.
Let's wrap
Toronto
up.
deals with it too because
Go ahead.
We don't have an NFL. Toronto deals with it too because we don't have an NFL team. So you
got the Argonauts.
Okay, but we don't have an NFL team. So, but you'll get it like, and then they'll talk in the first person, which makes it really annoying. Like, us Seahawks, we didn't do this or we didn't do that, or like, no, you're in Toronto. Like, they did that.
Can we add an honorable mention to that? I'm sorry, Pierre, but the Patriots. The last 20 years, they came out of the woodwork. All of a sudden, all these fans are like, I'm a Patriots fan. I'm like, what? Really? And you ask.
The Patriots fans are the new Dallas Cowboy fans, basically.
They are.
That's true. That is true. Now, see, we have a a special relationship with the Patriots in Philadelphia because, you know, you guys beat us.
Yeah, well, Donovan McNabb was
to ruin dreams
puking
as
at
Donovan
midfield.
right. Donovan was puking up his chunky, soup at midfield while his mom was rubbing his back, and he couldn't, he couldn't see. It was that beef stuff.
I love how affectionately you're providing that description.
This guy. So no, he's the guy that gets booed. You know, he loves Philadelphia, wants us to love him, but it just doesn't work. But like the kid who's like 21 years old, who's been to like 13 parades, like fuck, man, that's tough. I've been to 2 and they were fantastic. But like when I see them after like the 12th or the 10th or 11th, and it's like, oh, there's a million people here. I'm like, there needs to be 3. You guys should
well,
be
listen,
there.
after you win, after a city wins like a dozen championships in a span of 15 years, that's what happens, man.
No, wouldn't be like that here.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Everywhere. Yeah, everywhere.
I believe you.
Everywhere. It's like, you know what? Fuck this, man. We've been there, done that. Like, let's just watch it on TV today. So let's do this. So I want to share this. I want to share first before we're gonna go around the horn here because I do want to end with a ranking, right? So I want to end by saying I love being a Boston fan. I love it. I fucking love it. I love every second of it. And it's not just because we win. I was with them when we were the most loser city on the face of the planet, right? I've been with them all the way through, and I love being a Boston fan. But what we're going to do is let's go around the horn, and we're going to rank those fan bases that we talked about today from least terrible to most terrible. So let's start with Hazur. Let's do it.
All right. So, Toronto least. I mean,
oh yeah, of course. The Canadians.
You know, they're going to say please and thank you. I'm all for that.
Please change the channel.
Okay. Then Boston, while I do appreciate and appreciate is not the right word. I recognize also what you brought up about the history of racism. And obviously, it doesn't have any narrative or place in sports or anything in life. So, but getting a beer thrown at you, okay, it's their money, they wasted it. Whoop-de-doo. Then we have, I gotta say, well, one thing that you mentioned, the Yankees, and I'm not a Yankee fan at all, but they stuck in their city. I got to say the Dodgers and the Giants left, and they at least throw stats at you. And then Philly, people throw batteries and boo Santa. So, and last but not least, the good old Dodger fans, because hurting somebody physically does not fit the narrative in sports. It should be something fun, something that entertains us, and getting killed or stabbed does not, it doesn't warrant, you don't warrant that.
Now, and to be clear, not everyone does that, but like, it is a stain. It is a stain.
I mean, it's a big one too.
Yeah. All right, cool. Jason, what do you got?
Yeah, my list is pretty much going to be the same as Hazur's. Maple Leafs, the least, just because, one, I don't even pay attention to hockey. It's not my thing. So that, yeah, those fans don't bother me at all. And then who's fourth? Boston, yeah. Well, I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm going to put them pretty high. And then for me, it's the Yankees again. They may be arrogant, but with 27 championships, they've somewhat earned it. Even though, even the young ones have still been alive for 3. And then it's going to be the Phillies fans. There's every single one of them. It doesn't matter what sport. It's disgusting. He was mentioning Philadelphia Union fans are terrible, and nobody even watches MLS. What do they have to be terrible for? Then for me, the last one is the Dodgers. Just there is absolutely no reason to kill someone over the color of the shirt they're wearing. Period.
Pancake, what do you got?
I think that Philadelphia is pretty awesome. So we're not even going to be on the list. No, I mean, listen. You know, Toronto fans would take my number 5 spot.
Leon's making me start to hate Toronto fans. How he is about the Raptors. Like Kyle Lowry is a god. Kyle Lowry, this. He's making me.
No, Liz, Kyle
Leon's starting to get me to a point where I hate Toronto fans now, though.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know that. And Dodgers, Boston, and Yankees fans. That's a tough one, man. I mean, Boston had because me and Boston have been through more than me and the Yankees fans. Me and the Yankees fans have gone through 09, and that sucked. That was terrible. But honestly, other than that, we don't really have any. I mean, the Flyers that took on Boston that came back from 3 games down, won 3 games in a row, took it to game 7, we're down 3, took it, and then the next year you guys smoked us. I mean, just beat us to the ground. And Boston teams have beaten us forever. So for me, I think that Boston will probably take the number 2, and then Dodgers fans is the stabbing isn't part of sport. Yeah.
So.
You know, I'm all for throwing shit at people. You know, I was at a Pittsburgh game, playoff game 2012. Flyers come back, win it, and they gave out these like playoff booklets with these like spiral notebooks. These things weigh like 3 pounds. That's not that bad. But these things soar. And we won. And I got hit with, I don't know, 75 of these things. So much so that the security guards literally came down as we're trying to walk up, and he's like, "No, man, you're going to have to wait here." And they literally made us wait for like 25 minutes. So I've been treated pretty good, but pretty bad. But stabbing, that's not for me.
Pancake, well said. Leon Lowry? I mean, Leon Chen?
Yeah, like we don't have that many rival. Like I can't really think of that much like that happened between me and with the rest of the fan bases. So I guess we rank Toronto as the easiest. LA, since it's far away, we don't really have a rivalry with them. I don't really have to deal with Dodger fans. The Dodger fans that I know are pretty damn cool. So
yeah,
the Dodgers.
Oh
The
yeah,
ones I know personally are fine.
exactly.
Look at Leon being all Canadian about this. You know, he's like, which of my LA friends am I going to offend?
The Yankees. I couldn't think of anyone from New York that actually likes the Yankees. Everyone that I know doesn't care about the Yankees, and all the Yankee fans that I know are all from out of state. So then the Yankees, and then Philly, and then Boston's last. Mostly because I have to deal with you two knuckleheads all the time.
Well, all right. So thank you for that, Leon. That was very Canadian of you. That was a very Canadian response. So I'm going to take it home, okay, with my ranking. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right. So number 5 for me, the anything from Canada. So let's just move on from there because they're just they're too nice. Number 4. I'm going to go at number 4. I'm going to go a little differently than everybody else. I'm going to say LA. Here's why. That's 4 stabbing. I get that, right? Those are just 4 knuckleheads that did something. Those are 4 criminals, right? But overall, the fan base to me, there's some that are ultra passionate. They care a lot. They're really into it. But you're right. I mean, the fan base is annoying because of how casual they take things. The general LA Dodgers fan. Okay. So that's my number 4. Number 3 is gonna be Boston, in my opinion, because Boston is gonna get behind their players. They're annoying, I think, mostly. Now, again, I'm not gonna discredit. I'm not gonna take away from the terrible things that they've done. But I'm gonna say right now, at this very moment, they're annoying because Boston's been winning for many years. So, but they're also very passionate. I think they're harmless for the most part. You're gonna get a soda thrown at you. Okay, that's the worst. Philly is my number 2 because I think they're dicks.
True.
I just think they're straight up dickheads. I think every and I love like I know some Philly fans. I got them in the top of my head. I'm not going to be Canadian about this. I love them, but they're dickheads, and they know it, and I know it. And they'll also potentially throw something at you. So they're my number 2. Number 1 is the arrogance, the obnoxious nature of every Yankee fan, be them from Iowa, from Alaska, wherever the fuck they're from. They're all fucking terrible.
They're all over the place.
They're all fucking terrible. Okay. They are disgusting. They are terrible. They will hit you with statistics. They will hit you with 27 championships. They'll talk about polishing fucking trophies. They're obnoxious, as obnoxious as it gets. That's who they are. And like I said earlier in this show, I would rather get pelted by a Duracell than listen to one of those fuckers talk to me about 27 championships. Now, not to be outdone by the Yankees, I'm going to go with a 1B, which are those fucking people that love the Lakers, the Cowboys, the Yankees, and at times the Red Wings, just because they want to collect championships and throw them at you like Philly throws batteries at Terry Francona, or their fans throw ice balls at Santa Claus.
They were snowballs.
So I'm going to leave everyone with that. This was an extremely fun hour and 10 minutes. I think we reaffirm that Canadians are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Bostonians and Philly natives are assholes. Yankee fans are obnoxious and full of shit. And LA Dodgers fans have been stained by the scourge of 4 criminals, but still are far too casual in what they do. With that, Leon, do you want to take us away?
Yeah. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. We will be back on Saturday with Cap Banter episode 20. So stay fitted, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks a lot.
See you, everybody.